I had planned to arrive at my in-laws' house around 6 that evening. Traffic was lighter than expected, so I pulled up to their place in the suburbs just after 5. The street was already lined with cars. Through the windows, I could see the glow of Christmas lights and shadows moving around inside. I grabbed the wine bottles from the passenger seat and walked up the driveway. That's when I heard it. The living room window was cracked open slightly, probably to let out some of the heat from all those people packed inside. Voices carried out into the cold December air. My wife's voice, clear as day. I'm 3 weeks pregnant. It's his. My boss. He's going to be a father. I stopped. The wine bottles felt heavy in my hands. For a moment, I thought I'd misheard. But then her mother responded. Holly, are you absolutely certain about this? Does he even know yet? He knows. We've been seeing each other since September. He said he'd take care of everything. My father-in-law's voice cut in, deeper, frustrated. This is a mess. What about your husband? When were you planning to tell him? Eventually. I just needed to figure out how to handle it first. He doesn't suspect anything. There was a pause. Then her sister chimed in, trying to sound supportive but clearly uncomfortable. Maybe after the holidays? This isn't the time for that conversation. I stood there on the front steps, frozen. Not from shock exactly. More like my brain was processing information faster than my body could react. 3 weeks pregnant. September. That was 4 months of lying. 4 months of coming home late. 4 months of work dinners and team meetings. Her mother spoke again. Does this man plan to leave his wife? Or are you going to raise this child alone? He's working on it. His situation is complicated. I almost laughed. Complicated. That was one word for it. I turned around and walked back to my car. Quietly, I set the wine bottles on the hood, unlocked the door, and got in. I didn't slam anything. I didn't make a sound. I just started the engine and drove away. My phone buzzed a few minutes later. Holly, hey, where are you? Everyone's asking about you. I texted back. Traffic's worse than I thought. Running late. Probably another hour. Okay, drive safe. I drove to a hotel about 20 minutes away. Nothing fancy. Just a place with a bed and a door that locked. I checked in, went up to the room, and sat on the edge of the bed. My mind wasn't racing. It was strangely calm. I kept replaying what I'd heard. The casual tone in her voice when she said it. Like she was announcing a promotion, not a pregnancy with another man. The way her family just accepted it. Nobody told her she was making a mistake. Nobody defended me. They were just trying to figure out logistics. I pulled out my phone and searched for divorce attorneys in the area. Found 3 with decent reviews. Made a note of their contact information. Then I opened my banking app and checked our joint account. Tomorrow, I'd move half of it into my own name. She couldn't complain about that. It was fair. Around 7, I texted her again. Hey, not feeling great. Think I'm coming down with something. Going to head home and rest. Sorry to miss tonight. Tell everyone Merry Christmas for me. She called immediately. I let it ring twice before answering. Are you okay? Do you need me to come home? No, stay. Enjoy your family. I'll be fine. Probably just need to sleep it off. Are you sure? I can leave right now. I'm sure. Stay. Have fun. I'll see you later tonight. She hesitated. Okay. Feel better. I love you. I paused, then said, you too, and hung up. I stayed at the hotel that night. Told her I'd stopped at a rest area and fallen asleep in the car because I didn't want to drive while feeling sick. She bought it. The next morning, I went home before she woke up. Made coffee. Acted like nothing happened. She came downstairs around 9, still in her pajamas, and kissed me on the cheek. Feeling better? Yeah. Must have been something I ate. She smiled. Good. My mom was disappointed you couldn't make it. I'll make it up to them. She poured herself coffee and sat across from me at the kitchen table. I watched her. She looked the same as always. Same hair. Same routine. Same person who'd shared a bed with me for 6 years. Except now I knew. And she had no idea that I knew. That was my advantage. Over the next 3 weeks, I played the part. I went to work. Came home. Asked about her day. Watched TV next to her on the couch. She acted completely normal. No mention of pregnancy. No guilty behavior. Nothing. She was either an incredible actress, or she genuinely believed I was that oblivious. During those weeks, I met with an attorney. A guy named Mr. Eaton. No-nonsense type. We went over everything. He asked if I wanted to try counseling first. I said no. He asked if I was certain about my decision. I said yes. He nodded and started drafting the paperwork. I also started documenting things. Late nights at work. Text messages with hearts and inside jokes to someone saved in her phone as Fletcher. I didn't snoop aggressively. I just paid attention. It was all there, hiding in plain sight. Holly kept up her routine. Happy hours on Thursdays. Gym on Saturdays, though I was pretty sure she wasn't actually going to the gym. She'd come home looking too put together. Hair perfect. Makeup fresh. Not exactly post-workout condition. One night, about 2 weeks in, she tried to initiate sex. I made an excuse about being tired. She seemed annoyed but didn't push it. I couldn't even look at her the same way anymore. The thought of touching her made my skin crawl. By the 3rd week, I had everything in place. Bank accounts separated. Important documents secured. Attorney's paperwork ready to file. I was just waiting for the right moment. And I knew it was coming. Because Holly was acting different. More distant. More distracted. She was working up to something. I could tell. She wanted to be the one to end it. She wanted to control the narrative. Paint herself as the woman who outgrew her marriage. Make me the guy who didn't appreciate her. I'd seen this movie before. Just never thought I'd be living it. But she didn't know what I knew. And that made all the difference. I wasn't angry. I wasn't hurt. I was just done. And I was about to make sure she understood exactly how done I was. 3 weeks of pretending. 3 weeks of watching someone lie to your face every single day. It changes you in ways you don't expect. I went through the motions. Work. Home. Dinner. Small talk about nothing important. Holly would ask about my day. I'd ask about hers. She'd tell me about meetings and deadlines. I'd nod and act interested. All of it felt like watching a play where everyone forgot to tell me it wasn't authentic. Thursday nights were her standing team happy hour. She'd leave around 6, come home around 10, sometimes 11, always with the same story. Traffic. Lost track of time. The usual excuses. I stopped asking questions years ago. Turns out, that was exactly what she wanted. One Thursday, about a week after Christmas, she came home just before midnight. I was on the couch, TV on but muted. She walked in, kicked off her heels, and dropped her purse on the counter. Sorry I'm late. Fletcher wanted to discuss the quarterly projections. Fletcher, her boss, the father of her child. She said his name like it meant nothing. No problem, I said. There's leftover pasta in the fridge if you're hungry. I ate already. She walked over and kissed the top of my head. You coming to bed soon? In a bit. She went upstairs. I heard the shower turn on. 20 minutes later, she was asleep. I stayed on the couch until 2 in the morning, scrolling through my phone, reading articles about asset division in divorce cases. The next day, I met with Mr. Eaton again. His office was downtown, tucked between a coffee shop and a tax preparation service. Nothing impressive, just functional. Everything's ready, he said, sliding a folder across his desk. You just need to decide when you want to serve her. Not yet. He raised an eyebrow. You've been saying that for 2 weeks. I know. I'm waiting for something. For what? For her to make her move. He leaned back in his chair. You think she's planning to file first? I think she's planning to leave. She just hasn't figured out how to spin it yet. He nodded slowly. You're probably right. Women like that usually want to control the story. I didn't respond. Just took the folder and left. That weekend, Holly suggested we grab brunch. Just the 2 of us. She picked a place near the river. Nice spot. Quiet. The kind of place you go when you want to have a serious conversation without being overheard. We ordered eggs Benedict for her. Pancakes for me. She stirred her coffee and looked out the window. I've been thinking, she said. Here we go? About what? About us. About where we're headed. I cut into my pancakes. Where do you think we're headed? She hesitated. I don't know. That's the problem. I feel like we've been on autopilot for a while now. Don't you? Maybe. Maybe. She looked at me. That's all you have to say? I shrugged. What do you want me to say, Holly? That I've noticed you've been distant? That you come home late and barely talk to me anymore? I've noticed. I just figured you were dealing with work stress. She blinked, caught off guard. It's not just work. It's everything. I feel like we're roommates, not partners. And whose fault is that? Her jaw tightened. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying we need to figure out if this is what we both still want. I put my fork down and looked at her. Studied her face. She was good. I had to give her that. The concerned wife. The woman trying to save a failing marriage. She almost looked genuine. What are you really asking me, Holly? She blinked again. I'm asking if you're happy. Are you? She opened her mouth, closed it, then said, I don't think I am. I nodded. Okay. Okay. That's it. What else is there to say? You're not happy. Got it. She looked frustrated. Can you stop being so detached for 5 seconds? This is serious. I almost laughed. Detached. If only she knew. I'm listening, I said. You're not happy. You think we're on autopilot. You want to figure out if this is what we both want. Did I miss anything? No, she said quietly. That's pretty much it. So what do you want to do about it? She looked down at her plate. I think we should take some time. Maybe some space. Just to clear our heads. There it was. The setup. She wanted me to suggest separation. She wanted me to be the one who said it first. That way, when people asked what happened, she could say I gave up. I wasn't willing to fight for us. Space, I repeated. Yeah, not forever. Just for a little while. So we can both think about what we want. I picked up my coffee. Took a sip. You know what? That actually sounds like a good idea. She looked surprised. It does. Yeah, I think you're right. We could both use some clarity. She smiled. Actually smiled. Like she just wants something. I'm glad you're being reasonable about this. Why wouldn't I be? I don't know. I thought you might get upset. Upset about what? You wanting space? That's fair. Relationships take work. If you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Thank you for understanding. I squeezed back. Of course. We finished brunch. She talked about maybe staying with her sister for a week or two. I suggested she take as much time as she needed. She seemed relieved. Grateful, even. When we got home, she started packing a bag. I sat on the bed and watched. You don't have to leave today, I said. I know, but I think it's better if we start now. Rip the Band-Aid off, you know. Sure. She zipped up her suitcase and turned to me. We're going to be okay, right? Even if things don't work out between us, we'll still be okay. I stood up and pulled her into a hug. She wrapped her arms around me. I could feel her relax against my chest. We'll be fine, I said. She left 20 minutes later. I watched from the window as she loaded her car and drove away. Then I called Mr. Eaton. She just left, I said. Good timing. I'll have the papers ready to file Monday morning. Perfect. I hung up and walked back inside. The house was quiet. Empty, but not in a bad way. More like the calm before something necessary happens. I wasn't sad. I wasn't angry. I was just ready. Holly wanted space. She was about to get a lot more than she bargained for. Holly stayed at her sister's place. She texted me every couple of days. Nothing substantial, just checking in, making sure I was doing okay, playing the part of the considerate wife who needed space but still cared. I responded the way she expected, short but polite. Doing fine. Hope you're getting the clarity you need. Meanwhile, I was doing my homework. Fletcher King, 42 years old, senior director at the consulting firm where Holly worked, married for 15 years, 2 kids, one in middle school, one in high school. His wife's name was Janet. She had a public social media profile, posted photos of family dinners, school events, vacation trips, the picture of suburban happiness. I found all of this in about 20 minutes online. People share everything these days. Makes gathering information almost too easy. I thought about reaching out to Janet. Just a simple message. Your husband is having an affair with my wife. Thought you should know. But I held off. Timing mattered. If I told her too early, Fletcher might get ahead of it. Spin some story. Gaslight her into thinking I was lying. No, better to wait. Let Holly make her next move first. On Tuesday, Holly called me. Not a text. An actual phone call. Hey, she said. How are you? Good. You? I'm okay. Listen, I've been thinking a lot. About us. About everything. And I think we need to have a serious conversation. Face to face. Okay. When? Are you free Saturday? Maybe we could meet for coffee or something. Saturday was 4 days away. She was giving herself time to rehearse. Plan out exactly what she wanted to say. Saturday works, I said. Great. There's that place on Maple Street. The one with the outdoor seating. I know the one. Let's meet there. Around 11. Sounds good. She paused. Thank you for being so understanding through all of this. I know it's not easy. It's fine, Holly. Really. We hung up. I stared at my phone for a moment, then called Mr. Eaton. She wants to meet Saturday, I said. To talk about reconciliation? Doubtful. I think she's going to ask for a divorce. Then you need to beat her to it. File first. It gives you the advantage. I know, but I want to hear what she has to say first. He sighed. You're making this harder than it needs to be. Maybe, but I need to do this my way. Fine, but don't wait too long. The longer you drag this out, the messier it gets. I hung up and went back to my research. Fletcher King wasn't just having an affair. He had a reputation. I found an old forum post from someone who used to work at his company. They mentioned that Fletcher had been involved with at least 2 other employees over the years. Nothing ever came of it officially. The company swept it under the rug. Standard corporate cover-up. Holly wasn't special. She was just the latest one. That actually made me feel better. Not because I wanted her to suffer, but because it confirmed what I already knew. She wasn't thinking clearly. She was caught up in something that felt exciting and new. And when it all fell apart, she'd realize how stupid she'd been. But by then, it would be too late. Thursday afternoon, I did something I probably shouldn't have done. I drove by Fletcher's house, just to see it, just to put a picture in my head of where this man lived while he was destroying my marriage. Nice neighborhood, big houses, well-maintained lawns. His place was at the end of a cul-de-sac. 2 cars in the driveway, a minivan and a sedan. There was a basketball hoop above the garage, a kid's bike leaning against the porch. I sat in my car for a few minutes, just watching. Then I pulled out my phone and took a photo. Not of the house, just of the street sign. Evidence that I'd been there. Not sure why. Maybe I just needed proof that this was all happening. As I was about to leave, the front door opened. A woman stepped out, mid-40s. Blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail. She was carrying a trash bag. Janet. She walked to the curb, tossed the bag in the bin, and turned to go back inside. Then she stopped, looked right at my car. I didn't move, didn't start the engine, just sat there. She stared for a few seconds, then went back inside. I waited another minute, then drove away. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Janet, about what she was going to feel when she found out. How her whole life was about to get turned upside down because her husband couldn't keep it in his pants. Part of me felt guilty, like I was about to be the one who ruined her world. But the rational part of me knew better. Fletcher ruined it. Holly ruined it. I was just the messenger. Friday came and went. Holly texted me to confirm Saturday. I responded with a simple thumbs-up emoji. Saturday morning, I got up early, showered, put on jeans and a casual button-down. Nothing too formal. Didn't want to look like I was trying too hard, but also didn't want to show up looking like I'd given up. I got to the coffee shop 15 minutes early, ordered a black coffee, and sat at a table outside. It was cold, but not unbearable. A few other people were scattered around, typing on laptops or scrolling through their phones. Holly showed up right on time. She was wearing a sweater I'd bought her last year. Hair down, minimal makeup. She looked tired. Hey, she said, sitting down across from me. Hey. She ordered a latte from the server who came by. We sat in silence until it arrived. So, she said, wrapping her hands around the cup. I guess we should talk. I guess we should. She took a breath. I've been doing a lot of thinking these past couple of weeks. About what I want. About what's fair to both of us. Okay. And I think we both know this isn't working anymore. You mean the marriage? Yeah. I mean, we've been together for 6 years. And somewhere along the way, we just stopped being happy. At least I did. When did you stop being happy, Holly? She blinked. I don't know. It wasn't one specific moment. It just sort of happened. Sort of happened, I repeated. Like falling out of love just happens naturally. Sometimes it does. And there's no one else involved? No outside factors. She hesitated, just for a second. But I caught it. No, she said. This is about us. Not anyone else. I nodded slowly. So what are you saying? You want a divorce? She looked down at her cup. I think that's where we're headed. Don't you? Do I get a say in this? Of course you do. But I don't want to drag this out if we're both just going through the motions. Right? Because dragging it out would be a waste of time. Exactly. I leaned back in my chair. Well, I appreciate you being honest. She looked up, surprised. You do? Yeah. I mean, if you're not happy, you're not happy. No point pretending otherwise. She smiled, relieved. I'm glad you see it that way. I was worried you'd be upset. Why would I be upset? You're entitled to your feelings. I know, but still, this isn't easy for me either. I almost laughed. Almost. But I held it in. So what's the next step? I asked. I guess we find lawyers. Figure out how to split everything fairly. Keep it civil. Sounds reasonable. She reached across the table and touched my hand. Thank you for being so mature about this. I looked at her hand on mine, then at her face. She genuinely believed she was in control, that she was handling this gracefully. Holly, I said, can I ask you something? Sure. Do you think I'm stupid? Her smile faltered. What? No. Why would you say that? Just curious. Of course I don't think you're stupid. Good, I said, pulling my hand away. Because I'd hate to think you were playing me for a fool. She frowned. I'm not playing you. I'm trying to be honest. Right? Honest. What's that supposed to mean? I stood up, pulled out my wallet, and dropped a 20 on the table. It means I already have a lawyer, Holly, and he's been waiting for me to give him the green light. Her face went pale. What? I'll be in touch, I said and walked away. She called after me. Wait, what are you talking about? I didn't turn around, just kept walking. Let her sit with that. Holly called me 6 times that afternoon. I let every single one go to voicemail. She left messages. The first one was confused. The second was frustrated. By the 6th, she was angry. You can't just drop something like that and walk away. We need to talk. Call me back. I didn't call back. Instead, I called Mr. Eaton. File the papers Monday morning. You got it. Then I did something I'd been putting off. I sent a message to Janet King. Not through social media. That would be too public. I found her email address through a simple search. People leave digital footprints everywhere. The message was short. Professional. Mrs. King, my name is irrelevant, but my information is not. Your husband has been having an affair with a woman from his office since September. She is currently pregnant with his child. I'm not telling you this to cause pain. I'm telling you because you deserve to know the truth before he tries to control the narrative. If you need proof, I'm happy to provide it. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Sunday passed quietly. Holly stopped calling. Instead, she sent a series of texts. We need to talk about this like adults. I don't understand why you're being so cold. If you already have a lawyer, then you've been planning this the whole time. Who's the dishonest one here? That last one almost made me respond. Almost. But I knew better. Anything I said would just give her ammunition. Monday morning, Mr. Eaton filed the divorce papers. By noon, Holly had been served at her sister's place. She called immediately. I answered this time. What is this? She said. Her voice was shaking. Divorce papers. I thought that's what you wanted. I wanted to discuss it, not have papers shoved in my face by some stranger. You wanted space. You wanted clarity. I'm giving you both. This isn't fair. Fair. I let out a short laugh. You want to talk about fair? Yes. Because I don't understand what's happening right now. We were supposed to figure this out together. Holly, stop. Just stop. Stop what? Stop pretending you care about fair. Stop pretending any of this matters to you. There was a pause. Then she said, quieter, what are you talking about? I heard you. Christmas Day. At your parents' house. Silence. I got there early. I continued. Window was open. You were telling your family about the baby. About Fletcher. About how he was going to take care of everything. More silence. So when you sat across from me yesterday and talked about falling out of love naturally, like it just happened, you were lying. Again, just like you've been lying for months. I can explain, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. No, you can't. There's no explanation that makes this okay. You got pregnant by another man. You hid it from me. You let me walk around like an idiot while you planned your exit strategy. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like, Holly? Because from where I'm standing, it looks exactly like that. She started crying. I made a mistake. I know I did. But we can fix this. No, we can't. Please, just give me a chance to explain everything. I don't want your explanation. I want you to sign the papers and move on with your life. What about the baby? What about it? It's not mine. That's been confirmed. You and Fletcher can figure out what to do. He doesn't want anything to do with it, she said, her voice breaking. He told me to take care of it myself. I felt nothing. No sympathy. No satisfaction. Just emptiness. That's unfortunate, I said. But it's not my problem. How can you be so cold? Cold. You think I'm being cold? Holly, you destroyed this marriage. You made your choices. Now you get to live with them. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know you are. You're sorry you got caught. You're sorry things didn't work out with Fletcher. You're sorry your perfect plan fell apart. But you're not sorry for what you did to me. That's not true. Yes, it is. If I hadn't overheard you at Christmas, you would have kept lying. You would have convinced yourself you were doing the right thing. And eventually, you would have left me looking like the bad guy. She didn't respond. Sign the papers, Holly. There's nothing left to discuss. I hung up. 2 days later, I got an email from Janet King. Short and to the point. Thank you for the information. I verified everything you told me. I'm filing for divorce as well. If you're willing, I'd like to speak with you. I think we might be able to help each other. I wrote back. Happy to talk. Let me know when works for you. We met that Friday at a diner halfway between our respective neighborhoods. She was already there when I arrived, sitting in a corner booth, nursing a cup of tea. I slid into the seat across from her. "Thank you for meeting me. Thank you for telling me," she said. I had suspicions, but I kept pushing them down, telling myself I was paranoid. "You weren't paranoid." "No, I wasn't." She took a sip of her tea. "How long have you known?" "Since Christmas." I overheard her telling her family. "And you didn't confront her?" "Not right away. I needed to get my things in order first." She nodded. "Smart. I wish I'd been that smart. When you told me, I confronted him immediately. He denied everything at first. Then he admitted it, but said it didn't mean anything. Then he blamed me for not being supportive enough." Classic. Yeah, classic. She looked tired, worn down. He's already trying to spin this at work, saying she pursued him, that she was unstable, trying to protect his job. Is it working? So far. The company doesn't want a scandal. They'd rather believe him than dig into the truth. What about Holly? She got fired. Quietly. They're calling it a mutual separation. But we both know what it is. I felt a small flicker of something. Not quite satisfaction. Maybe just acknowledgement that actions have consequences. "My lawyer thinks we should coordinate," Janet said. "Since our cases overlap, it might help both of us if we share information." "Makes sense." "There's something else," she said, looking down at her cup. "I need you to understand something. I'm not angry at you, or even at your wife. I mean, I am. But mostly I'm angry at myself. For not seeing it sooner. For making excuses. For staying when I should have left years ago. You didn't do anything wrong. Neither did you. But we're both here anyway." She was right. We were both collateral damage in someone else's selfish decisions. We talked for another hour. Exchanged contact information for our lawyers. Agreed to stay in touch. When we left, she shook my hand. "Good luck," she said. "You too." I watched her walk to her car and drive away. Then I got in mine and sat there for a minute. Holly's whole world was collapsing. Fletcher's was too. And for the first time since Christmas, I felt like I could breathe again. Not because I wanted them to suffer, but because I was finally done carrying their weight. The next few weeks moved fast. Holly's family tried to intervene. Her mother called, asking if we could meet. I declined. Her father sent an email, surprisingly apologetic, saying he didn't know the full extent of what was happening. I believed him, but it didn't change anything. Holly moved back in with her parents. The sister who'd been housing her apparently had limits to her charity. Word got around their social circle. Some people took Holly's side. Most didn't. Fletcher's situation deteriorated faster. Janet wasn't quiet about the divorce. She told friends, family, people at their church. His reputation took a hit. The company started distancing themselves from him. No official termination, just a gradual reassignment to less visible projects. Holly tried reaching out a few more times, apologizing, asking if we could talk. I responded once, through my lawyer. All communication goes through legal counsel now. She signed the papers in late February. No contest. She didn't have the energy or resources to fight. Mr. Eaton called me with the news. "It's done. You're officially divorced." That was quick. She didn't want it dragged out. Probably worried about what else might come to light. Fair enough. The settlement was straightforward. We split what little we had. She got her car. I got mine. No alimony. No complicated negotiations. Clean break. A week after the divorce was finalized, I ran into Owen at a bar downtown. We'd been friends since college, but had drifted apart after I got married. He spotted me first. "Been a while," he said, sliding onto the stool next to me. "Yeah, life got complicated. I heard. Sorry about everything." "Don't be." "I'm not." He ordered a beer. We sat in silence for a moment. "You doing okay?" he asked. "Better than I expected." "Good. Because you look like you've got your head on straight." "Trying to." We talked for an hour. Caught up on work, life, the usual stuff. It felt normal. Like I was finally stepping back into a version of myself I'd forgotten existed. When I got home that night, there was a text from Holly. Just one line. "I hope you find someone who makes you happy." I stared at it for a long time. Then I deleted it without responding. 3 months later, I heard through mutual acquaintances that Holly had the baby. A girl. Fletcher never acknowledged paternity publicly. His divorce went through around the same time as mine. I didn't feel anything when I heard the news. No anger. No satisfaction. Just acceptance that it was all behind me now. I focused on work. Reconnected with old friends. Started running in the mornings. Small things that felt like progress. One Saturday, I was at the hardware store picking up supplies for a project when I saw Janet in the checkout line. She saw me too and smiled. "How are you holding up?" she asked. "Good. You? Getting there. Day by day. That's all you can do." She nodded. "It's strange, isn't it? How life just keeps moving forward." "Yeah, but I think that's the point." We chatted for a few more minutes, then went our separate ways. No drama. No shared trauma bonding. Just two people who'd survived the same storm and came out the other side. That evening, I sat on my back porch with a beer, watching the sun go down. The house was quiet. Empty, but not lonely. I thought about everything that had happened. The lies. The betrayal. The fallout. And I realized something. I wasn't the same person I was 6 months ago. That version of me would have tried to fix things. Would have believed her excuses. Would have carried the weight of her choices. But not anymore. I finished my beer, went inside, and closed the door behind me. The past was where it belonged, and I was fine with that. A year passed, then another. Life settled into a rhythm I didn't expect but appreciated. I never saw Holly again. Heard things occasionally. She was working retail somewhere, living with her parents, raising her daughter alone. Fletcher never stepped up. Not surprising. I didn't keep tabs on her. Didn't need to. She was a chapter that ended the moment I walked out of that coffee shop. Work got better. I took on more responsibility. Got a promotion I'd been after for years. Nothing handed to me. Just hard work paying off. Owen and I started meeting up regularly. Every other Thursday at the same bar. We'd have a beer, talk about nothing important, then go home. Simple. Consistent. The kind of friendship I'd neglected during my marriage. One Thursday, he asked, "You ever think about dating again?" "Not really." "Why not?" I shrugged. "Not in a rush." Fair enough. And I wasn't. I'd been in a relationship since I was 23. 6 years married. Before that, 2 years dating. I'd spent nearly a decade of my life attached to someone who ultimately didn't value what we had. Now, I valued my own time, my own space, my own peace. That didn't mean I was bitter. I just wasn't interested in forcing something that didn't need to happen. A few months ago, I got a message on social media. From Holly. I almost deleted it without reading. But curiosity got the better of me. "I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I wanted to say I'm sorry. Truly sorry. Not for getting caught. Not for how things ended. But for what I did to you. You deserve better. I hope you found it." I read it twice. Then I closed the app and went about my day. I didn't respond. There was nothing to say. She was apologizing for herself, not for me. And I didn't need her apology to move forward. Last week, I was at a friend's backyard gathering. Nothing fancy. Just people hanging out, grilling food, having a good time. A woman I didn't know struck up a conversation. She was funny, smart, easy to talk to. At some point, she asked if I was seeing anyone. "No," I said. "Why not? You seem like you've got it together." I thought about that. About how to answer honestly without sounding damaged. "I'm just figuring things out," I said, taking my time. She smiled. That's probably the healthiest answer I've heard in a while. We talked for another hour. Exchanged numbers. No pressure. No expectations. Just two people who might grab coffee sometime. Driving home that night, I thought about where I'd been, where I was now, the difference between the two versions of myself. The old me would have been terrified of being alone, would have jumped into something new just to fill the void. But there was no void anymore, just space. And space wasn't a bad thing. I pulled into my driveway, cut the engine, and sat there for a moment. The house was dark, quiet, mine. I got out, unlocked the door, and stepped inside. No regrets. No looking back. Just forward.